Hi, this is Shannon from Market7, and it is Friday, and I'm dressed in my Friday garb. We all wear Hawaiian on Friday. It's our thing. No, it's not. Nobody wears Hawaiian except for me, and this is the first time I've ever worn it, so I can't even say it's like a thing. But I wore it today, and I'm feeling very tropical, so let's roll with it. I'm ready for my pina colada. Pina colada over here? Over here, pina colada? Wait stuff around here is terrible. Today we're going to do a very short kind of primer on compositing and green screen, since we've done a bunch recently for our some of our Market7 shows. And well, first thing is the compositing is simply the act of removing one thing and replacing it with something else. And the first step to that is getting a good key. And a key is the part that you're going to kind of carve out and get rid of, throw away, and replace it with, something else. So in order to get a good key, you have to find something that is very different from the thing that you want to keep. For example, that's why we use green screen. There's not a lot of green in skin. And typically you want to pull, you want to keep the people and you want to get rid of whatever's behind them and then replace it with Niagara Falls or whatever you're trying to composite together. If I were green, we wouldn't want to use a green screen because it would be tough to tell what was skin and what was key, background that we want to get rid of. That's also why when you're doing a green screen, you never want to wear green. So otherwise, when it pulls the green background, it'll also pull whatever you're wearing. Well, it won't be like X-ray vision, but it'll be like you're invisible. Anyway, the point is that green screen, the point of the green is you're going to get rid of that part. That's the key you're going to pull. So here's an example of kind of where we did some green screen here. So there's two green screens. There's a reflector, and there's also just a green wall. If that's actually not green, it looks like green, but it's just a reflector. But I could also have painted the wall green and just cast regular light, not green light, against it, and it would have had the same effect. We chose to use the reflector because it makes it easier when you have a tight space to use a reflector. If I just used a regular green screen behind me, some of that green light would bounce off me if I was standing too close to it. And since we were shooting in the office, we didn't have a lot of space. Since when you don't have a lot of space between the camera and the subject, that doesn't give you a lot of space to get away from the green screen, then the reflector is a better choice. But if you can get away from the green screen, then green screen has some advantages there. But it doesn't really matter how you create whatever the key that you're going to pull, as long as you get a good key. That's the most important thing, because you're going to composite that later. And here you see the green wall has turned into the white background. Very exciting. Good stuff. For this one, we actually didn't have to use green. We could have done like a white cyc. And so here's an example of Brent By does a lot of stuff with Box Ranch. And when we were at his production studio last week, we saw him working in this white cyc. The cyc is SYC. It's short for cyclorama, and it's not a normal enclave. It's got a rounded bottom, so you don't see where normally you'd have a room and the wall and the floor come together, and you see that crack where the wall and the floor come together. We don't want to see that when we're shooting video or whatever, because it's distracting. It's getting in the way. So we make it nice and smooth. You don't even need a green screen if you can shoot in a white cyclorama, and I highly suggest that because it takes out a part of the post-production you don't have to worry about. You don't have to go in and pull a key and get to look right. You've already got the material. The downside is if you decide you want to put something in later, you really can't. It's really hard to pull a white background as a key later on. So the most important thing when deciding what you're going to composite, or if you're going to composite, is what is the reason you're trying to composite. The first question you should ask you is, why am I compositing? What do I want to replace, and why? And then that'll help guide your decision whether you should green screen to use a compositing material, or do a white cyc, or on location. Sometimes you don't need that at all. So it just gives you some versatility. But there's our short primer on green screen. Hope you enjoyed it. It was probably longer than you wanted to spend sitting here listening to me, but it's Friday and it's pina colada time. So with that, I bid you adieu, and I hope everyone has a good weekend. Man, I need a pina colada already.